With the acrid scent of lingering smoke still clinging to the air from the Galactic Council's urgent gathering, Ambassador Rachel Torres strode purposefully through the formidable blast doors. 3 star systems were now shrouded in quarantine. 2 explosive diplomatic ruptures had ignited interstellar media frenzy, and an intensely awkward confrontation loomed, poised to decide if humanity would integrate into the galactic tapestry or become its next catastrophic extinction event. The chamber itself was a breathtaking testament to alien artistry, a colossal circular amphitheater whose crystalline walls pulsed with shifting hues, mirroring the raw emotions of its occupants. Presently, these walls bled an alarming crimson, laced with streaks of sickly yellow. This was far from the warm welcome Rachel had envisioned. "Ambassador Torres," a voice like shattered rock synthesized echoed. It belonged to Morgth, the Council's current chairman, a formidable titan from a species that appeared to be a nightmarish fusion of a predatory mantis and a ruthlessly efficient accountant. "Please illuminate this esteemed assembly on the precise reasons why 3 of our member systems are now subjected to mandatory evacuation protocols." Rachel straightened her diplomatic attire and moved to the chamber's heart. Around her, representatives from a staggering 47 distinct species observed, their expressions a spectrum from keen interest to palpable, suppressed terror. The Modian delegation stood with arms defensively crossed. The Kilvex envoys emitted their characteristic clicking, a telltale sign of their distress. Even the typically impassive seemed to fidget uncomfortably within their biological pods. "Chairman Morgth," Rachel began, her voice resonating clearly through the chamber's remarkable acoustics, "I wish to assure the Council that the events unfolding in the Kepler sector were entirely unforeseen." A wave of sound, a peculiar blend of disbelieving laughter and perhaps horrified whimpers, swept through the assembly. Councillor Quinara, whose species bore a resemblance to an ethereal jellyfish fused with a profoundly anxious librarian, raised a translucent limb. "Ambassador, your species' interpretation of unforeseen resulted in a Class 7 stellar anomaly that our scientists are still struggling to comprehend. What precisely were you endeavoring to achieve?" Rachel cleared her throat. "Well, Counselor, we were conducting what we term a friendship demonstration." The ensuing silence was so profound that Rachel could distinctly hear the subtle murmur of the chamber's life support, meticulously maintaining 47 unique atmospheric compositions. "A friendship demonstration," Morgth repeated, his tone measured, as if weighing each syllable for explosive potential, "that created a temporary black hole." "A very small black hole," Rachel interjected helpfully, "and it was only for a brief period. We ensured its containment." Councillor Rexiel, whose appearance suggested an octopus subjected to a profoundly unpleasant military ordeal, leaned forward. "Ambassador, our deep space monitoring arrays registered gravitational waves that propagated across 3 sectors. Aquatic life on water worlds began exhibiting disoriented circular movements. Our chronometer networks. For 6 agonizing hours, our connection vanished." Rachel offered a smile, hoping for reassurance. "It was entirely accidental. We simply sought to demonstrate humanity's potential to contribute meaningfully to galactic civilization." The Neeloseth delegate, a crystalline being radiating distrust, countered, "By accidentally tearing holes in space-time." "By showcasing our problem-solving abilities," Rachel responded. "Remember when the artificial gravity generator on Kepler 7 malfunctioned? We fixed it." Morgth, consulting a data pad with his lower appendages, gestured emphatically with his upper ones. "You didn't fix it. Our reports indicate you improved it. The station now generates gravity across 17 dimensions, most of which didn't exist." "Technically, they exist now," Rachel clarified. "We're very thorough." The chamber walls deepened to a menacing red, streaked with purple stress marks. Councillor Felix, a creature resembling a shark fused with a filing cabinet, emitted a grating sound. Ambassador, let us address the second incident, the Vega cluster mining operation. Rachel's smile tightened. Ah, the mining situation. Your species volunteered to boost efficiency, Wingara stated, her voice chillingly like a disaster report. The operation had been extracting rare minerals from asteroid fields for 3 centuries, using standard, safe, predictable methods. Very predictable, Rachel agreed, almost dull. Rexiel continued, and then your people arrived with what you called helpful suggestions. We prefer to think outside the box, Rachel offered. Morgaux's voice escalated, a sound Rachel interpreted as barely contained Morgan fury. You didn't think outside the box. You convinced the asteroids to mine themselves. Self-organizing resource extraction, Rachel corrected. Far more efficient. The asteroids are quite content. The asteroids are sentient now, Felix bellowed, emitting the sound his species made during profound existential crises. Or at least, they've formed a union and are demanding worker compensation. They're quite reasonable in their negotiations, Rachel added helpfully. We've been mediating. The asteroids are surprisingly amenable once you understand them. A heavy silence descended, punctuated only by the sounds of multiple species experiencing simultaneous nervous breakdowns in their native tongues. Counselor Neil Mora, observing quietly from the rear, finally spoke. Her form resembled liquid mercury shaped by geometric unease. Ambassador Torres, perhaps you could illuminate us. These incidents you term unintended and helpful. Do these reflect typical human problem-solving methods? Rachel pondered this deeply. We do tend to approach challenges with a unique creativity, she explained. Creativity, Morgus echoed flatly. Innovation, Rachel corrected. We aim to discover novel solutions to age-old issues by inadvertently inventing new physical phenomena, Quinara inquired. By thinking outside the box, Rachel responded. For instance, when we learned the Council struggled with the century's piracy dilemma, we devised a resolution. A hushed realization dawned on every alien in the chamber simultaneously. What resolution? Morgth whispered, his voice barely audible. We befriended the pirates, Rachel chirped. It turned out they were simply bored. We introduced them to human entertainment and competitive sports. They've established a league and now consider themselves quite civilized. They're calling themselves the Centuri Corsa, and they have merchandise. The pirates have merchandise, Theug stated slowly. Team jerseys, novelty phone accessories, the full spectrum. Their playoff matches are incredibly popular. We've been assisting them with their promotion. Rexel emitted a sound akin to a balloon losing air, brimming with existential despair. Ambassador, are you suggesting you resolved a centuries-old piracy problem by transforming it into a sporting event? Well, when articulated that way, it sounds almost sensible, Rachel replied. The chamber's walls now pulsed with colors that Rachel suspected did not exist in standard space. Several alien representatives were making noises that their universal translators interpreted as error, concept not found. Counselor Dravar, who had remained silent throughout, finally addressed the gathering. His species resembled a fusion of a dragon and a profoundly critical tax auditor. Ambassador Torres, I believe I voiced the collective sentiment of the Council in expressing our apprehension regarding humanity's approach to interstellar coexistence. Apprehension? Rachel questioned. Terror, Morg corrected. We are terrified. But why? Rachel asked, genuinely perplexed. We have been nothing but supportive. Your definition of support, Ginara remarked, involves casually revising the fundamental principles of physics as a weekend diversion. Only when absolutely required, Rachel countered. Most of the time, we simply wing it. That is precisely what we fear, Neil Mora murmured. Morgth rose, extending all 4 arms wide in a gesture Rachel recognized as either asserting authority or desperately seeking divine intervention. Ambassador Torres, the Galactic Council has evaluated humanity's bid for membership. We have scrutinized your species' history, its technological prowess, and its cultural customs. And, Rachel prompted hopefully. And we have several inquiries, Morgth continued. According to our xenobiological assessments, humans originated as persistent hunters on a lethal world. This planet featured a high oxygen atmosphere, extreme meteorological conditions, and an ecosystem where every organism actively sought the demise of others. Earth isn't so terrible, Rachel stated, her voice a touch defensive. We have adorable puppies. The elves countered. Your puppies are wolves you selectively bred, apex predators you've transformed into cherished companions for your children. Rachel insisted, they're incredibly good with children. Rexiel added, yet your children's playthings include simulated weaponry and games centered on conquering entire civilizations. Educational tools, Rachel corrected firmly. We believe in preparing them for the realities of the world. The real world, Nyalmer mused, where your species finds relaxation in plummeting from aircraft or scaling lethal mountains. Some humans find that quite relaxing, Rachel admitted. Others prefer the quietude of reading about fictional humans who solve dilemmas by dismantling things until they function correctly, Draugr observed, consulting his datapad. Literature is a vital cornerstone of human culture, Rachel affirmed. Morgth settled back, a profound species-spanning migraine clearly dawning. Ambassador, he began, your species' application for galactic civilization membership outlines your requirements. Would you kindly review them for the Council? Rachel retrieved her datapad. Of course. Let's see. We seek access to galactic trade networks, engagement in cultural exchange programs, and participation in shared scientific research opportunities. Reasonable so far, Quinara conceded cautiously. We also wish to establish human colonies in suitable star systems, with full terraforming rights. Also reasonable, Moresh agreed, though his tone betrayed an anticipation of further demands. And we wish to contribute to galactic defense and peacekeeping operations. A profound silence fell. Define contribute, the asked, his tone carefully measured. Well, we've given that considerable thought, Rachel replied. Humans possess extensive experience in conflict resolution, strategic planning, and crucially, creative problem-solving under extreme pressure. The kind of creative problem-solving that transforms asteroids into sentient beings? Rexiel inquired. Among other things, Rachel confirmed. We are remarkably adaptable. Neil Moore leaned forward. Ambassador, how precisely do humans define a reasonable response to a military threat? Rachel paused, contemplating. It truly depends on the threat's magnitude. For minor disagreements, we typically prioritize diplomacy. And for significant threats? Trakvar prompted. We get creative, Rachel stated simply. How creative? Morgoth asked, his apprehension palpable. There was an instance during our colonial expansion, Rachel began, when we encountered a hostile alien probe. It was scanning our outer colonies, clearly preparing for an attack. What did you do? Quinara inquired. We befriended it, Rachel revealed. It turned out to be profoundly lonely, having drifted through space for roughly 10 millennia, searching for its creators. We assisted it in locating them. And where were its creators? The lead Parison asked. They had evolved into energy beings and completely forgotten it, Rachel explained. A rather awkward reunion, but we helped mediate. The probe is now gainfully employed, serving as a cultural ambassador between humanity's creators and various material plane civilizations is incredibly rewarding work. You befriended a weapon that could have annihilated us? Rexiel questioned, his tone laced with disbelief. We forge friendships with everyone, Rachel replied, her voice steady. It's rather our specialty, even with those actively seeking our destruction, Niall Mora added. Especially those, Rachel countered, as they often possess the most compelling stories. The chamber walls shimmered with hues so vibrant they were causing several alien delegates apparent distress. Morgoth rose again. Ambassador Torres, I believe I represent the Council's unanimous sentiment when I say your species' approach to existence is profoundly unsettling. Yet you claim friendliness. That's precisely what makes it so unnerving, Morgoth concluded. Draar chimed in. Your friendliness extends to entities that should remain adversaries. You resolve predicaments that ought to persist. You forge bonds with armaments, transform plunderers into athletes, and inadvertently conjure new realities as an unintended consequence of your helpfulness. We are exceedingly thorough, Rachel stated. Perhaps excessively so, Morgoth interjected. Your species doesn't merely solve issues. You resolve them so completely that entirely novel categories of unforeseen complications emerge. But we resolve those as well, Rachel pointed out. That, Telvex declared, is precisely what fills us with dread. Morgoth raised all four arms, commanding silence. Ambassador Torres, the Galactic Council has rendered its verdict on humanity's petition for membership. A palpable chill swept through the Empire as the question hung in the air. Rachel straightened, her posture radiating quiet resolve. Yes, we are regretfully denying your application at this juncture. Denying us? Rachel inquired, her brow furrowed. But why? Your species presents an inherent danger, Morgoth explained. Not in a martial capacity, but in a reality-bending one. You don't merely transgress established protocols. You dismantle the very concepts upon which they are founded. We exercise caution, Rachel protested. Your caution operates on a plane where carefulness itself loses all meaning. Rex added, you tackle challenges with the unwavering conviction that any solution is attainable with sufficient contemplation. And invariably, you are correct. Neil Moa elaborated. That is the terrifying aspect. Rachel surveyed the chamber, her gaze sweeping across 47 distinct species, each regarding her as if she had just confessed that humanity viewed reality as a mere suggestion. So that is the end of it, she asked. No galactic communion, no shared cultural understanding, no collaborative scientific endeavors? I fear so, Morgoth confirmed. Your species' capacity for innovation is simply too potent for galactic civilization to accommodate. Rachel remained silent for a considerable period. Then a smile bloomed on her lips. It wasn't an overtly threatening expression. Rather, it was the familiar human smile reserved for navigating an unexpected complication with polite acknowledgement. Well, she began, I truly appreciate the Council's forthrightness. You do? Quince Carrara asked, a note of surprise in his voice. Oh, absolutely, Rachel affirmed. It's always best to understand one's position clearly. And where precisely do you believe you stand? Telvex inquired, his voice tinged with caution. Rachel's smile broadened slightly. I stand with Rachel confessed her miscalculation, admitting her focus on humanity's virtues was misplaced. When questioned, she revealed she'd presented humanity's benevolent side, citing past acts of kindness as examples of their cooperative spirit. The Council's reaction was palpable. A hush fell over the chamber, and Neora echoed the sentiment. The nice side, Rachel affirmed, her smile disarming, yet unnerving, as she explained that Kepler, Vega, and pirate conflicts were mere demonstrations of their helpful nature. Rexel, sensing a shift, cautiously inquired about humanity's alternative approach. Rachel's smile transformed, causing the chamber's very walls to shimmer with colors beyond the perception of many species. "You'll never need to know," she calmly stated, a remark that elicited a stunned silence, punctuated only by the sound of reawakening alien hearts. Morg, with measured concern, asked if she was issuing a threat. "No," Rachel replied serenely. "Humans don't threaten. We promise." In that instant, communications erupted, emergency alerts blaring in 47 languages, creating a symphony of cosmic panic. Red lights flashed, and holographic data streams flooded the chamber, displaying alarming information that rendered the council members' faces a canvas of unprecedented distress. Morgth demanded an explanation, his hands flying across control panels, declaring the readings impossible. Rachel, unmoved, stood center, her hands clasped, maintaining her placid smile. "Just some friends checking in," she casually remarked. Counselor Quinn Nora's translucent form flickered, a clear sign of her species' acute alarm. "Ambassador," she stammered, "our sensors detect colossal energy signatures across council space. Ships. Hundreds, possibly thousands." Rachel, with understated amusement, corrected her. "Thousands is rather modest, but who's really counting?" The main screen descended, revealing a tactical map now teeming with contacts, an overwhelming constellation of vessels that had been absent mere moments before. "They weren't there 30 seconds ago," Thielvek observed, his voice adopting a strained, mechanical tone. Rachel explained, "Humans excel at opportune arrival, a skill honed through extensive practice." Counselor Rexel, utterly absorbed, stared fixedly at his console. The sonic scanner wailed, its output a cascade of escalating panic, a language the translator struggled to capture. "Ambassador," a voice stammered, "I'm detecting energy signatures that defy every known propulsion system." Rachel smiled, a subtle shift. "We've made strides since our last assessment. Innovation, you see, is deeply ingrained in human culture." She watched as Drar's scales rippled through a spectrum of colors, a silent testament to his profound regret. "Ambassador Torres?" Morgth inquired, a tremor in his voice hinting at dread. "What precisely are your people orchestrating out there?" "Waiting," Rachel replied, her tone serene. "Waiting for what?" Morgth pressed, his fear palpable. "For me to decide if we will be friends," she answered simply. The chamber's atmospheric processors strained, struggling to maintain diverse, breathable environments, as gasps of hyperventilation swept through various species. Counselor Nil Mora's crystalline form vibrated with unsettling frequencies, causing nearby instruments to falter. "Ambassador," a voice, laced with barely contained terror, resonated with newfound harmonics. "Are you suggesting your entire civilization has been observing this meeting?" "Not entirely," Rachel clarified. "Just those readily available. Most of humanity is preoccupied with their pursuits." "Their pursuits?" Quintara whispered, incredulous. "Genetic engineering, quantum mechanics, recreational dimensional physics," Rachel stated, as if it were the most ordinary thing. A new alarm shrieked, adding to the cacophony of fear, as security systems registered a phenomenon that caused Morgth's ocular sensors to widen to their absolute limit. "Ambassador, we're detecting massive gravitational distortions across the sector. It's as if the fabric of space itself is being contorted." "Humans are adept at finding efficiencies," Rachel explained. "We dislike wasted time." Thielvex sputtered, his voice escalating into a range that tested the chamber's dampening capabilities. "You're manipulating space-time as a mere convenience?" "We are quite efficient," Rachel confirmed. "Furthermore, we dislike arriving late for significant discussions." Counselor Drakovar now exhibited chromatic displays that Rachel suspected transcended the known spectrum. "Ambassador, our deep space observation posts report your vessels. They're not adhering to conventional physics." "Conventional physics can be rather restrictive," Rachel mused. We prefer to view physical laws as more akin to suggestions. Suggestions, Rexel echoed, his cephalopodic appendages cycling through expressions of utter mental collapse. Friendly suggestions from the universe, Rachel clarified. We endeavor to be respectful. A new display bloomed, showcasing intricate scans of the human fleet, data streams overflowing with readings that defied all established scientific paradigms. The ships were demonstrably larger on the interior than their exterior dimensions suggested. Outside, energy signatures pulsed, hinting at power drawn from contained paradoxes, and weapon systems defied identification, seemingly forged from concepts yet to be conceived. Peace readings, Neil Mora murmured, their crystalline form shimmering across dimensions. Impossible, they breathed. Impossible is merely a challenge yet unmet. Rachel smiled. Humans excel at embracing challenge. Orth, a blur of 4 arms, wrestled with incoming data, striving to maintain a semblance of order. Ambassador, our analysts struggle to quantify your fleet's threat. They're utterly bewildered. Rachel's voice held a knowing resonance. And what precisely is bewildering them? The weapon systems defy classification, Orth reported. The propulsion appears to disregard causality, and their defenses seem to compel reality itself to parley. We've always found negotiation effective, Rachel stated. Even with reality? Quinara inquired. Reality, once understood, is surprisingly amenable, Rachel explained. One simply needs to approach it from the correct perspective. Drakevar, his voice laced with apprehension, asked, "And what perspective is that?" "The one that refuses to accept denial," Rachel replied. The chamber walls now shifted through a spectrum that induced seizures in some species and offered profound existential clarity to others. Emergency systems, overwhelmed, displayed a single, unclassifiable alert in 47 tongues. Situation beyond comprehension. Counselor Rexiel extended a trembling appendage. "Ambassador, I implore you, speak with absolute honesty. When you stated humanity's past actions were merely acts of courtesy, what did you truly mean?" Rachel's smile widened, causing the chamber's reality stabilizers to groan under the strain. "I meant," she began, "that we have diligently adhered to every rule. We've been polite, considerate, and remarkably careful not to disrupt anything significant. The incidents that so deeply unsettled you," Morgth stated, his voice low. "Those were instances of our extreme caution?" "Very careful indeed," Rachel affirmed. "We ensured we didn't shatter anything vital. We tidied up meticulously, even leaving instruction manuals." "Instruction manuals for what?" Nyamura questioned. "For maintaining the advancements we implemented," Rachel clarified. "We pride ourselves on thorough documentation." "Do the sentient asteroids also possess instruction manuals?" Felix asked. "Naturally," Rachel replied. "They are beings of immense complexity, requiring precise care and attention, though not sustenance in the traditional sense. They do, however, appreciate discourse on mineral rights and dimensional enhancements to Kepler Station," Quinara added. "Complete technical, detailed specifications," Rachel explained, "including guides for troubleshooting and a customer service number. Customer service for technology from other dimensions," DRA Val inquired. "We stand behind our creations," Rachel affirmed. "Should you encounter any issues with the 17-dimensional gravity generator, simply contact our help desk. They are exceptionally amiable." "Who staffs a help desk for technology that defies logic?" Rexel questioned. "Mostly volunteers," Rachel replied. "Humans who find joy in explaining the inexplicable. It's quite popular, surprisingly." The primary display flickered, updating with new data that caused every alien present to doubt their grasp of mathematics. The human fleet wasn't merely present. Their presence suggested an enduring, omnipresent state, waiting in non-existent spaces until required. Ambassador Morg stated, his voice shifting to one of dawning comprehension that he had fundamentally misunderstood the discourse. What precisely would occur if humanity ceased its benevolent approach? Rachel considered this query with the same gentle focus she had afforded all others. That's a fascinating speculation. I imagine we'd need to embrace creativity, more so than inadvertently fabricating new dimensions, the left axe prompted. Oh, vastly more so, Rachel affirmed. When we act kindly, we must operate within established structures. We must be mindful of others' feelings. We need to ensure we don't preemptively resolve issues individuals aren't prepared for. And if you weren't kind, Namori probed, then we would cease our concern for whether people are ready, Rachel responded. The chamber hushed, save for the collective, simultaneous epiphanies of 47 distinct species regarding the nature of their conversation. Ambassador Quinara carefully asked, "When you suggest ceasing to worry about readiness, what precisely do you imply?" "Well," Rachel elucidated, "consider the issue of piracy within the Century Zone. We resolve that by befriending the pirates and transforming them into athletes. It's deeply considerate, thoroughly respecting their cultural autonomy. And if you hadn't been so considerate," Drakvar interposed, "we would have resolved the piracy issue," Rachel confirmed, "entirely and permanently across the galaxy." "How?" Morg inquired. "By rendering piracy impossible," Rachel declared. "Not merely illegal, but fundamentally impossible. We would have re-engineered the very fabric of space travel such that piracy could not even conceive of existing." "You possess that capability?" Rexile asked. "We are capable of many things," Rachel stated. "We simply choose not to, as it's not particularly neighborly." "What else can you accomplish?" Felvex inquired, his tone betraying apprehension about the potential answer. "We can resolve problems," Rachel asserted. "Any problem, all problems. We excel at it, even those considered insurmountable by other species," Neil Mora queried. "Especially those," Rachel confirmed. "We relish challenges." The chamber's reality stabilizers now operated at peak capacity, attempting to maintain. Amidst the familiar tapestry of space-time, a conversation unfolded, venturing into realms reality itself struggled to grasp. Ambassador Morgth, his voice tinged with dawning realization, admitted, "I believe I comprehend now why the Council may have erred in their judgment." Rachel, a knowing smile playing on her lips, inquired, "Oh?" Morg elaborated, "We presumed we were assessing humanity for admittance into galactic civilization." He paused, then added, "But we weren't, were we? What were you truly doing?" Rachel's smile widened, a silent confirmation of her own suspicions. "We were being evaluated by humanity," Morg confessed, "to ascertain if galactic civilization was sufficiently prepared for membership in whatever grand endeavor humanity is currently forging." Rachel's smile transformed, casting an ethereal glow upon the chamber walls, painting hues that several species' visual receptors interpreted as inevitability itself, given tangible form. "Now you're truly grasping it," she affirmed. Simultaneously, every communication channel within the chamber crackled to life, broadcasting the identical message. It pulsed across every inhabited world in the galaxy, translated into every known tongue, originating from sources so ubiquitous they defied tracing. The message, a wave flooding galactic systems, was deceptively straightforward. It materialized on screens, resonated through speakers, and miraculously rendered itself in every recognized language, even those lost for millennia, and at least 3 yet to be conceived. "Greetings, galactic neighbors," a calm, friendly voice announced. "This is Admiral Jennifer Hayes of the Terran Defense Corps. We sense a misunderstanding has occurred." The voice possessed a warmth, the kind humans deployed when sharing profound insights with those who hadn't been paying close heed. We wish to reassure all that Earth harbors no hostile intentions toward any member of this esteemed community. Our sole purpose is to clarify certain aspects regarding humanity's rightful place within the universe. Within the Council Chamber, 47 distinct species grappled with what their respective psychologists would later diagnose as acute reality adjustment syndrome. The chamber walls, abandoning their attempts at appropriate coloration, now swirled with patterns that, to numerous visual systems, conveyed the essence of inevitability, now adorned with a welcoming smile. The first point, Admiral Hayes continued, is that humanity has been an integral part of galactic civilization for a considerable duration. We have been observing, learning, and occasionally extending assistance when we identified solvable challenges. Counselor Morgth's forearms trembled as he manipulated his control interfaces. Ambassador Torres, a question forming, inquired, "Rachel, how long has humanity been observing?" Rachel considered this with the same gentle thoughtfulness she had maintained throughout their discourse. "Oh," she replied, "for about 15 minutes after we achieved faster-than-light travel. We are profoundly curious about our neighbors." 15 minutes? Telvex exclaimed, his mechanical vocalizations escalating into frequencies that began to agitate the chamber. "Rachel's dampeners smoked, so we worked fast," she explained. "We also wanted to truly understand this neighborhood before we properly introduced ourselves." Admiral Hayes continued, "The second point is that every challenge the galactic community has faced over the last 50 years has been resolved by humanity. The Andromeda Plague, which vanished without explanation, that was us. The rogue AI collective that suddenly embraced ethics and established a meditation retreat, us again. The dark matter entities consuming star systems until they inexplicably became cosmic gardeners, that was us too." The chamber fell into a stunned silence, broken only by the desperate thumping of several species' cardiovascular systems, attempting to restart. "You've been secretly solving our problems for 50 years? Quinara whispered, her translucent form flickering with disbelief. "Not secretly," Rachel corrected. "We simply didn't wish to make a fuss. We felt it would be impolite to claim credit." Drakvar's draconic features cycled through colors suggesting an utter existential crisis. "The Andromeda Plague decimated billions. It would have claimed trillions had we not stepped in," Rachel stated calmly. "We developed the cure in roughly 6 hours. The trickiest part was distributing it without anyone noticing." "How does one cure a plague stealthily?" Rexiel inquired. "We convinced the plague it would be happier as a beneficial symbiote," Rachel revealed. "It's quite content now, actually. It boosts immune systems and occasionally composes poetry." "The plague writes poetry?" Nilmer asked, her crystalline structure vibrating at frequencies that seemed to enlighten nearby equipment. "It's remarkably good," Rachel assured her. "Very introspective, exploring themes of transformation and finding one's purpose." Admiral Hayes pressed on. "The third point is that humanity's recent application for galactic membership wasn't a request. It was a courtesy notice. We wanted to afford everyone a chance to absorb the idea before we made it official." Morgth's species, unaccustomed to such stress, displayed alarming patterns. "Ambassador, are you implying humanity has been orchestrating galactic civilization?" "Orchestrating is a strong word," Rachel demurred. "We prefer to think of it as gentle guidance." "Gentle guidance?" Servax echoed. "We observed certain structural inefficiencies within galactic civilization," Rachel elaborated. "Nothing drastic, merely opportunities for optimization, so we offered some assistance." "What sort of optimization opportunities?" Quinar questioned, though her tone betrayed apprehension about the answer. "For instance," Rachel continued, "the Council's decision-making process averaged 47 years to resolve major issues. We streamlined it." "How?" Drakvar pressed. We ensured all major issues were solved before they even reached the Council, Rachel explained. Significantly more efficient. The fourth point, Admiral Hayes continued, was that humanity's definition, the scope of galactic existence, may far exceed your current understanding. The primary screen shifted, unveiling a breathtaking new star chart. What were once recognized as the confines of Council territory now appeared as a mere speck, nestled at the heart of something immeasurably vast. The view continued to recede, revealing layer upon layer of interconnected structures, an intricate web stretching outwards, until the Council's domain resembled a humble neighborhood within a sprawling metropolis. This defies all logic, Morg declared, yet his words held a hollow ring of doubt. It's simply a matter of perception, Rachel offered. You've perceived the galaxy as a collection of disparate societies. We envision it as a singular, unified community, awaiting its introduction to itself. How many civilizations exist out there? Nilmer inquired. That truly depends on your definition, Rachel replied. If you're referring to sentient species, this galaxy alone harbors approximately 47,000. If you consider distinct cultural entities, the number approaches 2 million. And if you mean individual consciousnesses deserving of acknowledgement, that figure fluctuates with every new birth. 47,000 species? Rexy echoed. That we've identified, Rachel clarified. Our cataloging is ongoing. The galaxy is immense, and we're committed to ensuring no one is overlooked. Admiral Hayes proceeded, stating that humanity has been diligently preparing for this very dialogue for a considerable period. We've anticipated this moment with great eagerness. New displays materialized throughout the chamber, presenting data streams that rendered the previously unbelievable readings as simplistic arithmetic. The human fleet's presence extended beyond conventional space. It permeated every dimension simultaneously, occupying positions that afforded instantaneous deployment anywhere required. Ambassador Thelvek spoke, his tone reflecting a dawning realization that he had fundamentally misjudged the very fabric of reality. What precisely is humanity? Rachel offered a smile, and for the first time since the assembly convened, it wasn't the carefully cultivated diplomatic expression. It was something profoundly warmer, more authentic, and unsettlingly potent. We are the species that gazed upon an infinite universe and decided it needed companions, she revealed. Companions? Quinara questioned. Everyone requires companions, Rachel responded. Even those who are unaware of their need, even those who fear connection, even those who believe they thrive in isolation. And if they resist friendship? Dr. Ivar inquired. Then we gently guide them towards understanding why they should, Rachel explained. We possess immense patience. We are unwavering in our persistence, and we excel at assisting others in embracing novel perspectives. Admiral Hayes continued with the sixth and concluding point. Humanity extends a formal welcome to the Galactic Council into the broader galactic community. We have prepared comprehensive orientation materials. The Chamber's systems began receiving data packets filled with information concerning civilizations, technologies, and concepts that even the Council's most advanced members would find astonishing. Advanced minds would require ages to comprehend such wonders. Cultural exchanges with beings from 17 dimensions, trade pacts with entities transcending physical form, diplomatic protocols for conversing with civilizations experiencing time in reverse. This is overwhelming, Morgoth stammered, his mind reeling, struggling to grasp even a sliver of the immensity. No single species could orchestrate something so vast. You're right, Rachel agreed. No single species could, but humanity is no longer just one species. What exactly are you? Niale inquired. We are the consequence of a species choosing to embrace the universe's infinite wonders. Not alone, but together, Rachel declared. We are what happens when boundless curiosity becomes our very existence. We are the spirit that confronts the impossible and boldly proclaims, "Hold my beverage." "Hold your beverage," Rexiel echoed, perplexed. "It's a quaint human idiom," Rachel clarified. "It signifies our intent to achieve what others deem unachievable." "And what precisely do you intend to achieve?" Failvex questioned. "We intend to reveal to the galaxy the beauty of universal camaraderie," Rachel announced. The chamber's reality stabilizers, finally surrendering to the unprecedented energies, powered down with what sounded like a contented sigh. The walls shimmered with hues beyond the Council's perception, weaving patterns that evoked the very essence of infinite potential, reveling in joyous celebration. Ambassador Morgth cleared his throat. "I believe I must pose the most critical question of my entire career." "Please do," Rachel invited. "What becomes of those who choose not to embrace this shared friendship?" Rachel's smile transformed, triggering the chamber's emergency systems to emit a melody akin to a lullaby composed of pure, harmonious mathematics. "That's the profound beauty of friendship," she explained. "It is not an option." "Not an option?" Quinn repeated, incredulous. "Friendship is an inherent force of existence," Rachel elaborated, "akin to gravity, electromagnetism, or the strong nuclear force. We merely guide others toward its recognition. And if they resist that recognition," Drakvar probed, "then we assist them in recognizing it with greater enthusiasm," Rachel replied smoothly. "We possess a remarkable capacity for enthusiasm." The central display recalibrated, showcasing the human fleet in its resplendent entirety, vessels existing across multiple dimensions simultaneously, armaments unleashing concentrated amity, defensive systems designed to awaken dormant fellowship within adversaries. "This is sheer lunacy," Halarive declared. "This," Rachel corrected gently, "is humanity. We surveyed a universe of strangers and envisioned a more cohesive social fabric." "And you truly believe you can impose friendship upon unwilling entities?" Moore challenged. "We impose nothing," Rachel countered. "We cultivate environments where friendship naturally blossoms as the most advantageous path." "What kind of environments?" Neil Mora inquired. "The kind where aligning with humanity yields a far more desirable outcome than the alternative." "Native," Rachel affirmed. "And the alternative?" Rex inquired. Rachel's smile transformed, bathing the chamber in hues that species vision interpreted as inevitable destiny, adorned for a celebration. "There is no alternative," she declared. "That's precisely the point." Then the alarms commenced, but not of danger. These heralded a profound shift in reality itself, a universe upgraded to a more harmonious version. Humanity, shedding mere nicety for active helpfulness, triggered alarms that sang a welcoming anthem. Every channel, every broadcast, every quantum link across known space converged into a melody resonating as home to all, irrespective of origin. Within the council chamber, the 47 delegates experienced the ineffable. The walls no longer showed colors, but raw emotion, joy, awe, the quiet assurance that transformation was at hand, rendering past impossibilities quaint. "What is occurring?" Morgth questioned, his voice now a blend of wonder and acceptance. His hands, once frantic, moved with the ease of one embracing a new truth. "Humanity is finally making its proper introduction," Rachel explained, her diplomatic smile replaced by genuine elation. "We've orchestrated this for some time." The main display shifted, revealing a galaxy interconnected by luminescent threads, a network of shared consciousness linking long-isolated star systems. Civilizations, once unaware of one another, discovered their proximity, previously masked by humanity's patient deference. "This is impossible," Felk stated, his mechanical voice imbued with marvel. not dread. You cannot simply reshape galactic society. We are not reshaping it, Rachel countered. We are unveiling its inherent design. The foundations have been laid for decades. We merely awaited the opportune moment to activate them. Counselor Quinara's flickering form now pulsed with her species' symbols of deep understanding. Ambassador, how long have you been constructing this? Since mere moments after mastering instantaneous travel, Rachel explained. We knew that if galactic exploration was our aim, we ought to ensure it was a welcoming place. So you've been covertly linking every civilization across the cosmos? Dracorva inquired. His draconic countenance shifted through vibrant hues, mirroring his species' astonishment and the dawning realization that his universe had been far more confined than he'd ever conceived. Not covertly, Rachel countered. We simply refrained from making a spectacle. Most societies weren't yet prepared for the complete truth. And now they are ready, Rexiel posed. His cephalopodic features conveyed a profound processing of concepts beyond his species' philosophical horizons. Now they have no alternative, Rachel chirped. But that's perfectly fine. Choice loses its significance when friendship is the objective. The chamber's systems now pulsed with data, not merely information, but shared experiences. The council members were suddenly aware of unknown civilizations, cultures existing in unimagined dimensions, and technologies operating on principles their scientists would have deemed pure fantasy mere moments prior. This is overwhelming, Nalora resonated, her crystalline form vibrating with frequencies signifying an attempt to grasp infinite complexity while clinging to sanity. It becomes simpler, Rachel assured. Humanity has navigated such complexity for ages. We've devised remarkably effective coping methods, like caffeine, as Morgoth interjected mostly. Rachel continued, furthermore, we've learned to perceive the universe as an exceptionally intricate web of friendships. Once you adopt that perspective, everything aligns. A friendship network spanning the entire galaxy? Thalix questioned. Several, in fact, Rachel revealed. We've been expanding. The Andromeda Galaxy boasts quite captivating neighbors, exceptionally amiable once you truly connect. You've initiated contact with other galaxies? Quinara pressed. We've forged friendships with them, Rachel corrected. There's a crucial distinction. Contact implies formality. Friendship suggests genuine mutual regard. The display transformed again, revealing not just the local galaxy, but the galactic cluster, then the supercluster, and finally structures so immense that the Council's understanding of space and time began to unravel. At every scale, the same pattern persisted. Interconnected networks, flowing communications, and the undeniable imprint of civilizations gently steered towards cooperation over conflict. How can this be possible? Drakvar pondered. The sheer energy expenditure alone. Oh, we don't utilize energy for this, Rachel clarified. We employ enthusiasm. It's remarkably more efficient. Enthusiasm? Rexley echoed. Enthusiasm is the fundamental force propelling the universe towards ever-increasing complexity. Rachel shared that connection is what we truly seek, though most species falter, caught by the mundane constraints of physics and causality. Neil Moira interjected, noting their undeniable importance. Useful, yes, Rachel conceded, but hardly absolute. The universe dances with far more fluidity than commonly perceived. It simply requires the correct perspective. Morgul inquired about this perspective. Unwavering optimism, Rachel revealed, paired with a resolute disregard for any evidence contradicting your aspirations. It's remarkably potent. Phil mused, that sounds akin to delusion. Rachel clarified, the distinction lies in successful execution. We've become adept at making things manifest. Suddenly, the chamber's reality stabilizers, having relinquished their grip on conventional space-time, flickered back online. Yet rather than mere stabilization, they now amplified existence, weaving threakerous words of profound meaning and connection, imbuing each instant with the magic of a grand, benevolent conspiracy. "What is this?" Quinara breathed, overwhelmed. "I feel everything, every consciousness in the galaxy, all interconnected." "You are interconnected," Rachel affirmed. "We simply opened your eyes. This is the very network you've been weaving, Drake," Rex Ill added. "Not just for transport or chatter, but for souls." "Indeed," Rachel corrected. "Minds are useful, but it's hearts that forge true kinship. We've been crafting the galaxy's very circulatory system for civilization." Rex Ill found this notion beautiful. "It took time to perfect the flow," Rachel admitted. "Some species are more emotionally attuned than others, but once the current is right, everything aligns." Niall A.A. questioned the fate of those resistant to connection. "No one truly resists," Rachel countered. "They simply haven't realized their deep longing yet. What if they actively push back?" Morgul pressed. "Then we help them comprehend their own hesitations," Rachel replied. "Facilitating understanding is our forte." The main display transformed, showcasing real-time scenes across the cosmos. Age-old adversaries laid down arms, engaging in tentative, bewildered camaraderie. Estranged species discovered shared struggles and offered mutual aid. Once isolated systems flung open their gates, extending warm invitations to neighbors. "This is unfolding everywhere," Vex exclaimed. A sentiment echoed galaxy-wide. "We are exceptionally thorough," Rachel stated, "and we wanted everyone to receive this revelation simultaneously. It's only fair." "What revelation?" Quinara pressed. "Loneliness." Rachel revealed that unity sparks joy, far more than rivalry, envisioning a universe where all beings exist as friends. When Drevar pondered species favoring competition, Rachel countered, "Then we assist them in striving to be better companions." Humans, Rachel noted, excel at transforming any endeavor into a camaraderie-building exercise, even warfare, as Rex Yell inquired. "Especially warfare," Rachel affirmed, "as a shared adversary powerfully unites individuals. Our focus is on common foes like decay, ignorance, and miscommunication." "You've weaponized camaraderie," Niall observed. "We've refined it," Rachel corrected. "There's a vital distinction. Weaponizing implies strife. Refining means optimizing benefits for all involved." The chamber's displays illuminated the galaxy's profound metamorphosis. Trade routes, once confined by political borders, now spanned the cosmos. Scientific exploration, hindered by interspecies jealousy, flourished through cross-dimensional collaborative teams. Cultural exchanges, previously impossible due to biological divergences, now thrived via technological interfaces, enabling shared experiences across all divides. "This is astounding," Morgu murmured, "yet profoundly unnerving. You've reshaped everything. Galactic civilization's very fabric has been rewoven in mere moments." "We've enhanced it," Rachel explained. "The former structure was inefficient, burdened by excessive discord, insufficient collaboration, rampant isolation, deficient connection, pervasive fear, and a deficit of friendship." Yet the V voiced a concern. Some species might not be prepared for this depth of interconnectedness. "No one is ever truly prepared for evolution," Rachel countered. "That's precisely what makes it growth. Readiness implies you've already arrived." "What of species fundamentally incompatible?" Quinn asked, referring to beings whose core biological or psychological differences preclude coexistence. "We've resolved that challenge," Rachel stated. "Incompatibility is often merely a communication barrier. Once appropriate translation protocols are established, harmony prevails." "What sort of protocols?" Drakvar pressed. Primarily emotional, Rachel elaborated. We've developed systems capable of converting any sentiment or concept into a universally comprehensible format for any species. Fear transforms into concern, aggression into enthusiasm, hatred into fervent debate over methodologies. You can translate feelings? Rexile queried. We can translate anything, Rachel confirmed. Abstract concepts, sensory perceptions, temporal viewpoints. The universe teems with diverse ways of experiencing reality. We simply facilitate the sharing of these perspectives. And species that resist sharing? Niall Sem inquired. They do not exist, Rachel asserted. Every being yearns to be understood, to connect, to feel their significance. We simply help them recognize these fundamental human needs, Rachel explained. The display shimmered, revealing the profound, long-term consequences of this transformative shift. Civilizations, once locked in millennia of stagnation, now pulsed with vibrant, accelerated progress in both technology and culture. Species teetering on the precipice of extinction discovered new purposes and forged unexpected alliances. Challenges that once seemed utterly insurmountable were elegantly resolved through collaborative efforts that spanned the vastness of the galaxy. This, it seemed, was true utopia. A guest marveled, "You've orchestrated a galactic utopia." Rachel gently corrected, "We've built the framework for it. The actual utopia will be constructed by everyone, working in concert. We simply ensured they possessed the necessary tools and the intrinsic motivation." "And what is humanity's specific role in this new cosmic tapestry?" Thiel Vex inquired. "We are the weavers of connection," Rachel replied. "The species dedicated to ensuring lasting friendship among all. We excel at resolving discord, at untangling complex problems, and at illuminating new perspectives." Quinn Ara asked, "So you will govern the galaxy?" "We will empower the galaxy to govern itself," Rachel clarified. "Democracy flourishes when genuine affection binds its participants." When Drakvar asked about inevitable conflicts, Rachel stated, "We facilitate their resolution. Our strength lies in guiding beings toward common ground." Rex Ill pressed, "But what if that common ground simply doesn't exist?" "Then," Rachel responded, "we help them create it. Reality, you see, is far more malleable than most comprehend. If you require common ground, you can almost always construct it." Niall Mora mused, "You speak of altering the very fabric of reality to mend disagreements." Rachel offered a different perspective. "We speak of optimizing reality to nurture the bonds of friendship. It's not so different from our ongoing efforts." The chamber walls now pulsed with a live panorama of the galaxy, showcasing the transformation unfolding in real time. Across countless worlds, beings who were once strangers were becoming cherished friends. Civilizations locked in ancient animosity were forging powerful alliances. Seemingly insurmountable obstacles dissolved through the simple, profound act of unified effort. "It's breathtaking," another guest breathed, "but also immense. How do we possibly adapt to this new existence?" Rachel offered a simple path. One friendship at a time. We adapt, as humanity always has, by connecting with those around us, offering aid with their burdens, and trusting in the unfolding of events. "And if things falter?" Thiel Vex asked. "Then we help them mend," Rachel assured them, "for we possess an unyielding persistence." Quinn inquired, "What of species that genuinely crave isolation?" "Then," Rachel explained, "we help them understand that what they truly crave is solitude with kindred spirits, individuals who truly understand them, and you can provide that understanding." Drakvar asked, "We can provide the very framework for that understanding." Rachel concluded, "The actual understanding, however, must arise from the beings themselves. We simply ensure they have the chance to flourish, Rachel stated, a gentle resolve in her voice. Rex-IL chimed in, a beautiful, glorious madness, but madness all the same. Madness is merely sanity awaiting proper illumination, Rachel countered, and we excel at such illumination. The spectacle shifted, revealing the apex of their grand endeavor. The galaxy now pulsed as a unified civilization, each species weaving its distinct talents into a tapestry stretching across existence. Strife had dissolved, challenges had been met, and a shared purpose now bound them, fostering universal prosperity. What lies ahead? Neil Mora inquired. The next phase of our work, Rachel affirmed. Beyond this galaxy, countless others await friends. Other dilemmas beckon solutions. The cosmos is vast, and our journey has just begun. You intend to extend this to the entire universe? Moore questioned, a hint of awe in his tone. Our aspiration is to guide the universe toward its most magnificent realization, Rachel declared. It will be extraordinary. And if resistance arises, as Telly Vex pondered? The universe yearns for connection, Rachel explained. It craves understanding. It desires embrace. We are merely its facilitators. A profound stillness settled as the magnitude of their creation resonated. The galaxy, remade. Civilization, elevated. Existence itself, optimized for amity. Amidst the hush, Counselor Quinn Ara spoke, her words carrying the profound weight of a species whose perceptions had been utterly reshaped. We were mistaken about Earth, she confessed. Mistaken about connection? Rachel gently corrected. Earth simply discovered the pathway to making it flourish. And now? Morgeth probed. Now everyone experiences the joy of true fellowship, Rachel proclaimed, eternally. The chamber's surface shimmered, displaying a final, universal message in every tongue conceived. Welcome to the universe. We are profoundly glad you are here. Across the cosmos, 47,000 species gazed skyward, understanding at last they were no longer solitary wanderers. They were integral to something grander, something breathtaking, a bond that would forever hold them. They were living humanity's magnificent vision for the universe, a vision of unparalleled beauty.